The reason we are now creating mission agencies is because the church has abandoned her responsibility. Church is actually God's mission agency. If one starts in Enugu, it takes responsibility for the whole city, for all the rural communities in the city. And after it's through with that, it starts sending missionaries to other parts of the world. The missionaries are those converts that are coming through the gates, giving their life to Christ. If they are not trained and developed, they will never realize that destiny. Just like Jesus, we start by being born a baby, but we are to be groomed. Think about it, my brothers and sisters. Let me come down here a little. This is what the Lord asked me. When I began to rediscover the purpose and the mission of the church, I felt so bad. I repented so much. And I've been in ministry for years and wasted so much time. So I said, what do I do now? Where do I even start? Can you imagine running church without one training program? An institution that is supposed to be training and sending missionaries around the world. An institution that is supposed to be training and sending deliverers. An institution that is supposed to be developing and supplying leaders to society. When a society is looking for a president, when a society is looking for a governor, people that can be trusted. That thing that the missionaries did for us when they brought sermons, the quality, are they not the ones that gave us all the founding fathers of this nation? That is what we're supposed to give Nigeria. The church is supposed to be the institution that supplies leaders, men of integrity, what Prof calls oak seed, men of foresight, men of vision, men of compassion to the society. That's where we failed, because we don't even know how to raise. And like I always said, our job is to raise priests and kings. The few that even have training institutions and training programs only develops priests. They grow pastors that don't make any serious impact in society. We don't know how to develop kings. But it was a Samuel that raised David. Many times you find a priest or a prophet behind the rising of those kings that did righteousness in the Bible. It is the church that is supposed to be developing Davids, developing Josephs, developing Daniels, and sending into society. Our own missionaries in the different government houses have no clue why they are there. When they get in there, the virus of corruption in the system destroys them. They add shame to God's kingdom again. The only thing they know is that they come to service and maybe give pastors brown envelopes and sing and make stupid speeches. Now, this is the scripture I want to show us. John chapter 17 verse 4. This is what I call success in ministry. Look at the model. Look at Jesus. I have glorified you on earth. How? By finishing the work which you have given me to do. This is John chapter 17. John chapter 17 has one theme. So, when the Lord opened this to me, the issue was, which work did Jesus finish before he went to the cross? The finished work of Christ, which I have preached for years, is his redemptive work that he did on the cross. How come he has finished another job before he finished that one? So I now realize that there are two work that he finished. And I already understand the finished work of the cross, which brought me redemption. And that is important. And that is the gospel of salvation that we should keep preaching. Because without it, multitudes are going to go to hell. That is where the price of redemption is paid. But after people have received redemption, is that all God saved them for? So we prison them in church. They have been released from prison of hell. We create our own new prison on earth because we have lost the purpose of the church. But now here is Jesus saying, I've finished the work. And I wanted to know what. And every time you want to understand a text, read it in context. Read the pretext. read the text, read the post-text. So I started reading. And I saw that every discussion is about the men that you gave me. 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 Everything is about them. The men that you gave me. The men that you gave me. The men that you gave me. And towards the end he said, just like you sent me into the world, I have sent them into the world. So the work he was telling the Father I have finished is the work of preparing the men that will change the nations. That is the most important work every minister is given. That you are preaching every Sunday doesn't mean anything to heaven. The greatest injustice you do to the kingdom of God is to do this. You are one-man show, and at the end of the day, you aspire and go. You leave a generation lost and confused. There are two ways. It's either you sit down like God the Father and tell the Son, go to planet Earth. Everybody there has been lost. Go there and redeem them. I can sit down when that time comes. It's not yet time. There is no packing now. When I still have energy in my body. At this time, no. It's Jesus that is told to sit down. The rest of us are told to go. It is when you finish the work, you can come and join him to sit down. There's no packing here or retiring here. What he says is come rest for a while. After a major hit, rest for a while, balance back, and then go back. I have finished the work that you gave me. I have finished the work that you gave me. So I said to the Lord, then what is the second work that he finished? He said, that is your own direct ministry. His own direct ministry is to come and be a Messiah, a Redeemer, die on the cross for our redemption. Our sacrificial lamb, our Moses. Okay? So, but this other work is what will cause sustainability after he's gone. That will cause continuity. That is the most important work. I know you have your own ministry. You might be a teacher. You might be what? That thing you are doing is one side to the story. There is another job which is revealing the ministries of others that God has given you. Now, I end this way. How come people come to our church and forever they are not growing into anything? There should be input and output phase. There should be admission and graduation. Graduation is the time they are released to go and manifest in the world. There is no framework. So there is no curriculum. This month now, you have 52 weeks. What many of us are going to preach this year, you don't know. When I was a baby in ministry, that's the kind of thing I used to do. No more. I have found out that you're not supposed to be teaching new revelation every week. You're supposed to have things that are properly crystallized. You teach. You pass men through it. They come out on this side. You're supposed to have processes you pass them beyond teaching. Assignments that they do. Projects that they do. Research work that they do. Extra books they have to read. Tapes they must listen to. The same thing that shaped you. You expose them to the same shaping influences. They come out on the other end, being like you, having the capacity to produce results just like you. Some of us are so intimidated that we will not expose the people God gave us to what? Ask our pastor. There are some trainings I carry, my top 12, and we go and sit there in class. Of course, when I went to INT, we sit in class, we do project, we do assignment. I fail, and we got it right, and they are watching me. I've taken them together with me to at least 7 different trainings. We all sit there. I'm not intimidated that I'm learning ABCD with you. What is the meaning of that? My office as father is uncontestable. You don't need an election to. My purpose is that I want to see them not make the mistakes I make. Some of these things I'm learning now, I could have known before. I want them to learn it from the foundation, and so they can go much further than me. I don't have those problems. Because when you are, I think at home, We want our children to go further than us. It doesn't mean they are greater than their father. It depends on what you mean. That is, say you will do greater works than him doesn't mean you are greater than him. They are two different things. But we need to equip them to do more exploits than us. Solomon is not greater than David, but David had to add everything, all the resources, wisdom, everything God gave him to mentor that man. And then God now added the extra. He went further. But it's still David that God calls the apostles to the kings. We don't have a framework. You don't even have a curriculum. What is the framework for developing new believers? What is the framework for growing leaders? Look at their educational system. There is a framework there. You start with nursery, you go to primary school, you go to secondary school, then you go to university, then there's even a postgraduate program, a 5-level framework. Look at the manufacturing industries. They have a 4-process framework. You have the input, where you put in the raw materials. Then you have the process, which is where you train the raw materials, where you process the raw materials. Then you have the output. That's where you churn out the products. Then you have the outcome, when the product starts serving its purpose, solving the problem it's created to solve. Then you have outcome. How come we don't have? The church is supposed to be like a factory. It's supposed to be system-driven. People come in at this end, it processes them, produce transformational leaders, and then deploy them, and then we monitor results after that. Bow down your heads for a minute. The solution to the corruption problem of Nigeria is in the church. We have to regain our lost mandate. Grow presidents for this country. Grow ministers for this country. Grow commissioners for this country. Grow a new brand of police for this country. Let's ask him to help us rediscover the church. We're going to have a second coming, or the third coming of the second coming of the church. Maybe the third, because the Protestant Reformation gave us the second. This might be the third coming of the church. And the nations we know. For the Bible said in the last days, the mountain of the Lord's house shall be exalted above the mountains, and all nations shall flow into it. Many people shall come and say, let us go to the mountain of the Lord's house, that he may teach us his ways. For out of Zion shall go forth the law, and the word from Jerusalem.